Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
Welcome to the Dynasty Dugout Show, a podcast covering all things minor league baseball. Get a front row seat to the action with everything you need to know about the future stars of Major League Baseball. And now, here's your host, Chris Clegg.
Welcome back into the Dynasty Dugout Show. It is Thursday. It's May 21st, man. It's almost Memorial Day. It feels like minor league ball is kind of hitting full swing now. Like, stadiums begin to fill up more like after Memorial Day, it seems. So at least in my area, like parks will begin to sell out, and I hate that. I'd rather sit in an empty park, honestly, get better seat, and you don't have to deal with people sitting right beside you, because unlike scouts, we don't get an extra seat beside us at games. Unfortunately, all scouts get 2 seats, which is very nice. They put their book bag in one, they sit in one, but I'm kind of, we get crammed in 1 seat, but it is what it is. And minor league ball is just full go. I'm excited to be back. A couple week hiatus, just some personal stuff going on that just kind of kept away from the pod, but we are back and excited to break down some prospects. And with me, as always, is Rhys White. Rhys, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I also would, if like the media people are listening to this, I would love a second seat next to me. I don't carry my backpack with me. I just go leave it in the press box. So I guess technically the press box would count as my second seat. But the scouts are lucky they get that. And they, it's at the affiliate that I go to, they get a whole row of just like to themselves. So they just kind of like, although people try and sneak into the scout section, it's always an interesting time. But yeah, I'm super excited to be back. And I mean, minor league ball is in full swing. We have the complexes going, and then we have the DSLs starting up soon.
Yep, absolutely. So that's going to be fun. We'll be covering the DSL as much as we can, and complex we're covering as well. We're covering complex players every day in our daily article, but also we've got a weekly article on all the top players that are kind of making headway and moving up rankings in the complex. So go check out the Complex League Climbers article. It's out on the site as well. But we're going to have some recent news and notes for some prospects, and then we're going to talk players that are due for some promotions soon. We're in the time frame where we're going to get a lot of promotions up leagues soon. And then also a couple struggling prospects at the end of the show. But first, unfortunate news is Robby Snelling. He just today confirmed will have Tommy John surgery. He made one start. Is that correct? In the majors? Got called up. Yeah. And then, unfortunately, not looking so hot. Any thoughts on that, Rhys, or thoughts on Snelling in general?
Snelling it's unfortunate, but I guess if you want to look at it on the bright side for him, he's going to be spending his time on the Major League IL, so he'll be making Major League money, so good for him. Snelling, he wasn't great, but there was like some flashes of what Robby Snelling is. We don't expect him to be an ace by any means, but a really good, fantasy starter for quite a long time. And now he's basically, I don't know if he got internal brace or whatnot. We don't really always know until like a little bit later. So yeah, it's unfortunate. He's probably going to be the biggest faller in rankings, just because he's going to be a pitcher. He's going to be out of sight, out of mind. I would trade him. I wouldn't trade for him. Well, I would trade him if I could. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think anybody's actually going to be trading for a guy who just got TJ. And I really wouldn't be trading for him, because I think that you can use your IL spots in different ways, especially with some of us in leagues that don't have unlimited IL spots.
For sure, yeah, it's a tough place to kind of be right now if you do roster him, but at the end of the day, like if your league's kind of shallow, you just cut him, and if not, you just kind of hold him in a minor spot, hopefully. But the Mets are having a youth movement. They've kind of conceded the season already, it seems, which is interesting. First, it was AJ Ewing that came up, and he seems like a kind of a bet to stick on the roster. And it was Nick Morabito and Zach Thornton. Thornton did not last long at all. He started and was sent immediately back. Fantrax actually changed him back to a green flag like during the start, which was interesting. Not sure what they knew or if they just totally forgot to take off his green flag. I'm not sure either way, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. Any thoughts on either of those guys, if Thornton comes back or Morabito or even AJ Ewing, who is certainly the more well-known one there?
I think Thornton will be back at some point. You've got to imagine that they're going to trade Freddie Peralta, which seems like a very interesting move. They were expecting to be a competitive team. They traded quite a lot for him. And then there was the rumor that he was going to get the extension. So there's going to be some sort of spots opening up. And, as we know, with the landscape of pitching, as we just talked about with Robby Snelling, injuries happen. So Thornton will be back at some point. Morabito is currently slotted into what I think we all think he is. Bench outfielder, pretty fine player, should get some run. Ewing's the more interesting one, obviously. Probably, he was obviously on the upswing, for like rankings and stuff. I don't know how high I would have ranked him, and we're still going to rank him because I don't think he's going to graduate. I don't think he's going to put up 100 plate appearances between now and June 1st. So probably going to be like a top 20-ish, top 30-ish prospect. I don't know where you sort of are on him, and he's doing really well. Again, 35-ish plate appearances, already his first home run, has 2 stolen bases. He's going to be a pretty big stolen base guy, and then there's the power that comes along with it. I don't think that he's going to be anything more than like 15 to 18, but 15 to 18 with his stolen base potential is going to be pretty exciting in fantasy.
Yeah, I think that he's in that top 25-ish range for me. I've seen him in top 10s of lists, and that's just a little too high for me. I'm not buying the power enough there, but it is a good profile. It's going to be one that's consistent, I think, and he's going to get you a lot of steals, so that's valuable for AJ Ewing. I was looking kind of where does he slot in? I'd have him above Luis Pena at this point. So I've got Pena in that 25 range, he kind of goes there. But then some kind of interesting guys after that, so maybe he pushes closer to 20, but I don't know. Yeah, it'll be interesting to kind of see where he shakes. The list right now is weird to me because we had a lot of graduates, and then it's for me at least, it's Jesus Mate, Leo DeVries, and then after that, you can go a lot of different ways. And I'm not really set on the top 10 is kind of funky to me. I don't feel great about it. It'll be, I don't know where I'll land. I'll probably change it 10 times in the next 10 days, honestly.
I'm with you. I'm going to be spending this weekend. I think I have, what's weird, I think I have 15 to 50 sort of locked in where I want them. It's where do I want to put, 3 through, I guess I do open world stuff. So I have Rock Chalowski pretty much at 3. So, but the top 10 is going to be fascinating. Are we ready to jump Florentino into the top 10? Are we ready to jump Bonnemer? I don't know if it's probably the weakest back end of the top 10 in a while because we have the 2 guys at the top who might be awesome, Made and then Leo DeVries, and then I don't know if you're going to be. So I think it seems pretty consensus. We're all moving towards Made at 1. There might be a few people that sort of be Leo DeVries does have technically a higher upside, which I don't disagree with. So it's going to be an interesting ranking updates for everybody, sort of, because I think we're going to see a lot of Mate, a lot of Leo DeVries, and then at 3 you can kind of go. It's choose your own adventure. Do you want to jump Seth Hernandez that high? Do you want to do Kade Anderson that high? I mean, you kind of can go. Do you want to go Caleb Bonnemer that high? It's going to be a very fascinating time in the prospect ranking over the next couple of days. Yeah,
I've currently got Trey Savage at 3 because he's going to graduate. I don't know if he'll graduate before my list goes out the end of May. I don't think he will, but I just feel he's got a 1 ERA in his MLB career. It's kind of absurd. And while I think that he probably settles in as more as a 2-3 type, and Seth could be an ace, I don't know. I just feel you can't do a disservice to Savage. I feel he has to graduate there for me ahead of Seth and Kade, but it'll be interesting debate for sure. But again, I can't argue with Savage results.
I'm with you right there. I mean, his last start, 6 strong innings, 8 strikeouts, struck out, the best right-handed hitter in baseball 3 times. So, Yeah, I don't blame you at all. I mean, whatever he's doing, right? The fastball and that arm slot, it's working, and hitters have not seemed to figure it out. So he's maybe he's just the third prospect by default for both of us.
Yeah.
Or fourth, I guess, that Rock.
That's right. Yeah, you'll have him in there for sure. Another news or note that's I think worth talking about is Henry Bolte. Bolt. I've heard it pronounced all three ways. He got promoted to the majors, and the hype is absurd right now. And I understand why, because in AAA, he hit 12 home runs, stole 17 bags, and slash 348, 418, 658. So I get it. Like, I've gotten more questions about him than I think any other prospect in the Discord over the last few weeks, because he's sprouting in the top 10 of a lot of prospect rankings. And honestly, like, I just struggle to put him in the top 100. Like, even with promotion, and maybe that sounds crazy to me or like to anybody listening, but like, I don't know. Like, I'm really struggling with the hype. We have to remember the environment that Bolte was playing in AAA. And I get it. The environment's going to be pretty good for him for the foreseeable future. But man, the underlying skills, especially revolving like contact and his launch angles, are just bad. And it concerns me. And while I do agree that the power speed is a lot of fun, I mean, I think it's easy plus power, and he might be an 80 runner. Like, it's kind of crazy tools to bet on. I just think the hit tool's so bad. I think the hit tool's a 20. And I know that, and people are going to look and say, well, he's improved the contact rates. I get it, but you factor in the contact rates that are bad with the really bad launch angles, and I'm just not overly interested in him. And the reality is also that AAA pitching's bad. Like, I don't think people really understand that the pitching in the PCL is so bad. Like, teams just aren't sending good pitchers there. So, like, sure, you may look at the contact rate and it's like, okay, it wasn't bad for Bolte in AAA. It was like 75%. That's substantially improved. He's never been above 70% at any point in his career. I don't know. I just think the pitching in AAA might be worse than ever. And so I'm just not interested. And I put him in the top 100 because I feel like I had to by default with graduates, but I'm just not in on the hype train right now. And I'm like, if you roster him, like, it feels like a pretty good sell moment for me. What about you?
I would be taking advantage of that sell moment because the buzz out there is pretty substantial, right? And I like Bolte more than you do. Like, I think that I think that I like the power, I like the speed. I'm with you there, though. There is a lot of things under the hood that are kind of scary. He swings quite a bit, like, and he's pounding the ball into the ground, like, substantially. Like, if we want to look at his ground ball rates over the years, I mean, we can't really count this year in the major leagues. It's not really that big of a sample, but a 58% this year, last year, right? This guy just pounds the ball into the dirt. So, his max EVs are cool. His 90th percentile EVs are cool. But if you're not hitting the ball with optimal angles, you're actively making your power play down. He's playing. It's just, I don't know. I want to buy in. I think he's going to get some extended run because Lawrence Butler has not been great after signing that extension. Yep. And he's going to be playing in some pretty favorable offensive environments. And also, I mean, he's going to be taking advantage of, outside of when he faces the Mariners in division, the pitching is going to be pretty bad in that division but you're right. AAA pitching is bad. Like, I tune into the games and I'm like, man, like, I know that I've been to a few AAA games, and there's a reason that I don't go out to Vegas to go cover AAA games, because it's like, this is a 31-year-old who has 12 like innings of Major League ball and is probably, is talking to the NPB/KBO scouts before the game, figuring out what his career is going, right? Like, so there's just a lot of that in AAA, especially in the PCL. He doesn't get to face quality arms on a consistent basis. I mean, the best arm in the PCL is on his own team, so he doesn't even get a chance to face him. So it's at a point where I think you got to sell high. I like him more than you do, but if you have someone who reads other lists, and this is not a shot at anybody who makes other lists, you leverage those lists, get a good return, and then, get someone who Chris and I both like more. Yeah.
These are, I'm going to pull the data on Savant to confirm, but on this spreadsheet I've got, it says that his pulled fly ball rate is like 17%, and his average EV on fly balls is only 93, which isn't, it sounds good, but that's not really great when you think about it. And when you don't hit the ball in the air a lot, that's also not great. So I'm gonna keep moving the show, but I'm gonna run those through Savant filters and just kind of see. That was AAA, so it's not a small sample or anything like in the majors. But let's move on to some prospects that are due for promotion. We've seen some in the recent days where guys are moving up levels, but we're about to hit the time where we're going to see a lot of players that are going to be promoted. The Complex League is under full swing. We will get guys coming out of the complex we already have. And also then that causes players to then be promoted from other levels. But some of them may not be contingent on other moves at all. I want to start with this first guy, and that's Josuar Gonzalez with the Giants. Obviously, that Giants complex team is awesome. And it's centered around two stud prospects in Gonzalez and Luis Hernandez. There's some interesting things with Hernandez's age. Would he be at a full season affiliate this year before he turns 18? I don't know. I mean, it's possible by end of the year, but Josuar makes sense. He has an extra year under his belt. Remember, Hernandez signed this January. He can cover off the ball. I'm going to have him in my top 10, spoiler alert, because I think he's just a phenomenal prospect and everything kind of backs what he's doing. But Gonzalez is interesting. I think the conundrum for the Giants is you have two shortstop prospects at the same affiliate, and both are players that you want to develop as shortstop prospects, at least in my opinion, but you can't do that right now. So I think Josuar is somebody that could be due for promotion and somebody that then you would see pretty regularly, which would be awesome. But based on what you've seen from him so far, what are your thoughts, and when can we see him with that San Jose club in Single A?
Selfishly, I hope that it is before the week of July 12th or June 12th, because I have credentials waiting for me to go see that affiliate and the Stockton affiliate. So I'm selfishly, I hope it's before then. With Gonzalez, it's better power than I think was advertised when he was an IFA signing. The interesting thing with both of them, like in a real life setting, is you don't really want either one of them to play second base at any point, and maybe you run Josuar out there at center field, but he's never played out there. But yeah, I think that with him, the speed is pretty crazy. The power is coming along. I mean, he has 1 home run already, 2 stolen bases, and just is hitting the cover off the ball. Again, it's only 10 games, but he's hitting 400, 525, 625. So, he's showing that this level of competition might be beneath him. And selfishly, I hope he gets promoted soon, because I would like to see him, and I will make an effort to go see him as much as possible, because I am getting fatigued watching the same guys over and over again. I want to see someone who, I think Josuar could end the season with Luis Hernandez being top 10 prospects. It's that sort of upside, and with how wonky the top 10 is, it's really exciting if you're a Giants fan. For the minor league level, maybe not for the major league level. So yeah, I don't know. I'm super excited about Josuar, and I really hope that he gets promoted soon. A lot of my travel plans actually sneakily revolve around Josuar or Luis Hernandez getting promoted. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Back to the Henry Bolte thing, I did confirm. So he pulled just 2 fly balls in AAA. That's absurd. So not only is the ground balls an issue, 2 pulled fly balls of his 25 fly balls that he hit. So, just the side note there. But back to our players due for promotion. Next guy that I put on the list that I think is probably due for one is Theo Gillen, who is young. So it's possible that, and it's also the Rays. So the Rays do things a little differently because they are incredibly deep. But Theo Gillen's 20. He'll be 20 the rest of the minor league season. He turns 21 mid-September. But Gillen is somebody last year who I saw pretty consistently, because I see Charleston a lot and I see Bowling Green a lot. He didn't swing the bat at all last year. Man, there was games legitimately where I saw 4 swings from him. He would just swing he would get 1 swing in at bat. He wouldn't swing at all. He'd take walks. But he is swinging a little more this year. The swing rate is up. 42% is up from 34.5%. He's doing all the right things. Theo Gillen is hitting the ball hard. And if you see him, when you see him in person, Gillen's a physical specimen. I mean, he's listed 6'2", 195. I'm bad judge of weight, but he's a well filled out 195. He's a well filled out 6'2" frame, and he's all of 6'2". There's no doubt. Well filled out, but he runs exceptionally well too, and he's hitting the ball much harder than he was previously. Last year he hit 5 home runs. He's already up to 9 this year. in 135 high A plate appearances. And it's not just the Sal League boosting it. This is legitimate jump and exit velocities. There are some ground ball issues. Again, it's 48%. It's not to the level of Henry Bolte that we talked about. But again, like Gillen is running pretty absurd home run to fly ball, 41% home run to fly ball rate. So that's going to come down naturally. But Theo Gillen is a dude. He's going to be in my top 20. I just really buy the combination of skills when we talk about hit tool, on base skills, power, and speed. So I think it's possible that we see Gillen promoted to AA soon. Again, he would be young for it. I wanted to look at the Rays kind of depth chart to kind of see what they had going on there in AA. They've got some guys, I guess. I mean, Austin Overn's hitting good in their outfield, but then it's Mac Horvath, Ryan Spikes, Cameron James, and Noah Myers. So there's nobody blocking him from getting plate appearances in the outfield, I guess. So I think that's a reasonable expectation that Gillen could get the bump in a couple weeks. But any thoughts on Theo Gillen and what he's done so far?
I mean, the fact that he's swinging more, he's progressively swinging more. I mean, 34% swing rate last year is ridiculously low. Like, even 42% is getting to the point where it's like, it's not a red flag, but it's like a yellow flag. Like, I don't know if you agree with me or not, and I haven't obviously done a lot of research into it, but I kind of want guys in like that 44 to like 48% band. Like, that's sort of the band. Once you start getting outside of that, like, I want you to go up there and like at least like be a threat to swing, because if you swing, good things can happen, especially with what he's been doing. And watching him, I haven't seen him in person, so I'm going to go with what you're saying. But watching him, on minor league baseball streams, things sort of pop off. The home runs aren't cheapies, right? They're like, there's some substantial power there. There's a good approach. There's good contact skills, and if he can start swinging a little bit more, the upside's pretty high, and the whole raise of it all does make it a little bit interesting. But there's nobody really blocking him, like you said. Like, Overn's good. Overn's probably bouncing back, or maybe he's just a guy who only performs in the first half of the season. Last year, he had me thinking this guy's a top 100 prospect. Like, he's awesome. Is he the next Christian Campbell? That's the sort of things I was throwing around out there. But Theo Gillen, he's probably ready for the AA jump. It just, do the Rays want to fast track him, because he would be 20 in AA, which would make him one of the like 5 youngest players in the league. Sure. And I think it'll be a good test for him. I don't think the high A is really challenging him. And shout out to Jeff in the Discord bringing out his the idea that the ball is sort of bouncing in that league. So maybe getting him in AA and getting a chance to see him against more advanced pitching, pitchers who can spot their changeup and spot their breaking ball, actually would be really good for him, even if he does, quote, struggle a little bit, and then he gets a chance to play against some more advanced pitching. So I'm on board with Theo Gillen getting promotion. I like him a lot. Absolutely.
Speaking of another young player in high A that's just hitting the cover off the ball, that's Alfredo Duno, who he would talk about young. I mean, Duno just turned 20 earlier this year in January. So he's young, but man, he has not let this league affect him at all. I mean, and also, like, we want to know, like, this is he's in the Midwest League. Like, the weather's pretty bad there, and he's just tearing it up. He's already got 9 home runs, and he's a big boy. Like, this is a guy who I met in another shout out to Jeff. He let me come to the BA prospect pad last year at the Futures game. And so some of these guys, like, I see a lot of players up close in person just being on, like, I'd like to go on the field for games, but like Duno's not one that I'm going to see, because he goes Florida State League to then the Midwest League. But that was the time. I mean, he's listed at 6'2", 210. This dude he's 6'4", like 240. Like, he's huge and he's a big boy, but he's a player that just keeps on hitting. It is nuts what he is doing right now, honestly. And the exit velocities were really good last year in a pretty pitcher-friendly environment in the Florida State League. Like, last year, I mean, he hit the cover off the ball pretty well, ran like a 106 90th. It's up like near 110 this year. It's pretty nutty. His contact rates are up, which is good. Like, you like to see that. He's pulling the ball more. His pull rate's 61%. That's pretty crazy. And he's keeping the ball off the ground. So we've talked about a couple guys with ground ball issues. He's got a 39% ground ball rate, 38% fly ball rate, pretty solid line drive rate as well. So, and Duno also has a pretty good approach. So we got to note that. I mean, his swing rate last year, pretty similar, weird profiles, but 39% swing rate in single A's up to 43%. So we like to see that when you're swinging more and when you're chasing low and you're making more contact. Like, that's the recipe for success here. So the question is Duno a catcher long-term? I don't know. I'm not sure I care personally. Like, I think the bat's just so good. What say you about Alfredo Duno, as I've gushed enough about him?
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
Duno is one of my favorite prospects in all of baseball. I love him. And you know what? He might actually be fighting for like a top 10 spot. Like, yeah. I don't like, if you think Rhino Rodriguez is a top 10 prospect, which he's in that conversation, don't get me wrong. Duno's at least in that same tier with him, I think. Because Duno has, I think, more power in the tank, right? And honestly, the bat is more advanced than the glove. Let's be real. The glove with Duno has never been his strong suit. It's maybe like it maxes out as like a slightly below average catcher, but he just, hits enough that doesn't really matter. And at this point, we all know the catching just sort of changed a lot. It's just, can he frame pitches? Which is not something I'm going to be able to get like a super good feel for watching, on stream. But if he moves to first base, he's the best first base prospect in baseball. Like, it's pretty comfortably. It's like everything you want. It's a good approach. It's more approach than contact, but still, it's good contact. And then that 110 90th exit velocity is just nutty with someone who can just lift and pull with it like with the best of them. Duno's going to be awesome. Like, I think it's a pretty. If I had to bet on any prospect to be a 30 home run bat, Duno is probably up there. He also has Great American Ballpark, which just makes things so much nicer. So yeah. I love him. I think he's ready for AA. And honestly, maybe he's a short stint in AA and then he's up in AAA, and then who knows from there.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be crazy. The catching situation in AA, which is, I don't know why I'm completely blanking on Chattanooga, but in Chattanooga is nothing to like. They just don't have any catchers really.
They don't have any catching prospects in the system except for him.
Yeah, they've got like 30-year-old just guys that have just hung around forever. So, yeah, I mean, I don't see a reason why. If you're Cincinnati, would you not want Duno to develop this year and then say, like, hey, maybe this guy can be ready for us, even though he's super young? Like, maybe he contributes for a decent portion of the year next year. Like, I mean, I don't think that's crazy to say, honestly. I mean, I think the bat's pretty advanced. So if you're in the mindset of that, then you have to promote him to AA soon, see what happens, and then go from there. They haven't shied away from promoting guys aggressively in the past. So we've seen them have a history of pushing guys, whether it be Ellie, Ellie was a superstar, so it's another point. But Matt McClain was somebody they got aggressive with. Sal Stewart, another one. We think of Stewart a little older. He'll be 22 all year this year. So they have it somewhat of a history. Chase Burns they got aggressive with. So maybe they follow that path again with Duno. But yeah, you're right. Looking at it, I mean, I think there's an argument that he's better than Rhino Rodriguez, and I've got Rodriguez hovering pretty close to the 10. And I just think why should I not push Alfredo Duno into the top 10 right now? If we just play would you rather have him or an injured Sebastian Walcott? I mean, Walcott's more talented, I think, but I don't know.
I think the power upside. I'd rather Cole Emerson, someone that I've been lukewarm on for quite a bit. I rank him at the spots because I feel like I have to rank him at those spots. I can't rank him where I think I want to rank him, which is 20, 30 ish range, because I just don't see the fantasy upside. Duno is someone I'd want even with Colt Emerson being a major leaguer right now, I'd want the upside of that sort of power, that sort of approach in one of the more power-friendly ballparks. Like, I mean, especially when the ball starts flying, as it starts heating up in the Midwest, like that. Alfredo Duno's got the sort of like stuff to make he makes any ballpark look small.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think Duno's going to be he's a top 10 fantasy prospect, in my opinion. I'm not going to shy away from that. We'll go ahead and call it now. There's talking about some major risers, and I think it's well deserved. But this guy's certainly vaulted into the top 10, and that's a pick that probably the only pick that the Mariners nailed last year, and that's Kade Anderson, who is, I mean, there's just no reason for him to be in Double A anymore. And I get the reason why you don't want him in Triple A because of the PCL. But I think this guy has the stuff to just carve up the PCL, honestly. And it's funny because, it was like, oh, the fastball. How many times are we going to just say the fastball is not good enough? And, guys with this kind of pedigree just make it work. I mean, I get it's not Paul Skeens' velo, whatever. I don't care because, Kade Anderson's just a pitcher. He's a lefty. He works 93, 94. He'll get some 96s in there. And the results kind of speak for himself at this point. In 34 Double A innings, he's got a 41% strikeout rate to a 4% walk rate. It's just silly stuff. He's got a 1.85 ERA and a 0.76 WHIP. I just not really sure why you trot him out in Arkansas anymore. I think you got to give him a shot in the PCL, and I think he pitches in that rotation in Seattle this year. It's just my opinion. But any thoughts on Kade Anderson?
I'm with you. I think at some point we need to kind of stop the whole fastball conversation when a guy gets drafted to an organization that knows what they're doing with pitching, right? We can have the conversation with Anthony Ianson, right? Is Anthony Ianson's fastball fantastic? No, but they do enough other stuff. The breaking ball is really good. The changeup's really good with Ianson, for example. And with Kade Anderson, same school, same rotation mate. When you maybe can bust out 3 other plus pitches, the fastball you can deal with, maybe not the fastball being the greatest pitch. Kade Anderson's ready for AAA. I kind of want to see more data on it. I want to see, more pitch mix stuff on him. So selfishly, I want to see him there. And yeah, he's pretty much could he handle his own? Could he go 5? Could he produce a quality start right now for the Mariners right now? They don't need him to because they're moving guys I think I saw Luis Castillo is moving to the bullpen. So they have an embarrassment of riches, but pitching gets hurt, and Kade Anderson is one of their best 7 or 8 guys in the organization right now. So yeah, I think Kade Anderson needs to be moved up to AAA and just see where it goes. And then, if an injury happens on his start day, he's getting called up to the major leagues. Because with a pitcher, I don't want to waste the proverbial bullets, right? I want to, because we know that at some point they're going to break, like a Robby Snelling, or there's injuries that happen with his position. And I just rather utilize them at the major league level if you have the sort of stuff that he does. And he's got good command. I believe that Arkansas is not the easiest place to pitch as well. It's not. So he's handling his own. I'm ready for Kade Anderson to be in AAA.
Absolutely. So he is well deserved. And this last guy that's more than due for promotion is lighting the world on fire. He's the most popular prospect probably in baseball right now. And that's Eric Hartman of the Braves, who is just unreal with how good he's been this year. And again, at this point, what do you do with him? High A's not been a challenge at all. The contact's steadily improved. The exit velocity data is off the charts. Got a nice sneak peek at that in the Discord today, and it's stupid, silly, really, 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 really good. And he's a 70 runner. He stole 48 bases last year. He stole 16 already in 19 attempts this year, 13 homers. It's just stupid. Hartman's way too good for high A. And I get it. You go to the Southern League and it's a little bit more challenge to hit. And I think he needs that, honestly. The Braves have we know when they think a guy's ready, they're just going to shove him. More so with pitchers, but we also don't know because they just haven't had the hitting prospects in the system. They haven't had a good hitting prospect, and I get it. They've got guys like Drake Baldwin, but guys that are tearing up the world like this. I don't remember the last time the Braves have had a hitting prospect like this, at least in since 2020. But I think that Hartman's due for a promotion to Double. Give him a good challenge, see what he can do. But yeah, where are you at on Hartman?
I'm with you. Shout out the Discord. If you're not in there, you should get in there because it is fantastic. Sub if you're whatever. like top of the scale EVs with probably a near top of the scale athlete. Like it's everything that you sort of want. I mean, you could dream and get like really irresponsible with like what this guy's outputs could be at the major league level when when he starts entering his prime. Like it's pretty ridiculous. And they got this guy in the 20th round. Shout out to the Brave scout for picking him up. This is a guy who's ready for AA at the age of 19, about to be 20 here soon. So happy early birthday, Eric Hartman. Maybe your birthday present will be being promoted to AA. He's ready.
Absolutely. So some prospects that could see a promotion soon. Just want to quickly hit a couple of struggling prospects before we get out of here, because people ask about these guys, and I think there's a couple that are like bigger names that are probably worth talking about. First one is Max Clark. I don't want to say that he's like struggling bad. He's not been great, but he's got just one home run in AAA so far in 188 plate appearances. The 694 OPS is obviously not great either. And while there's some things that look good under the hood with him, it's just like, okay, who's Max Clark? Because at one point it looked like he was kind of on the fast track to Detroit and could have been there like pretty quickly. But I think that he needs some work right now, and we'll kind of see what comes of it. But yeah, right now, Max Clark is not looking great, but he's an org that you follow pretty closely. So I'm curious what you think of Max Clark.
It's far too many ground balls. Like this is when he was running at his best, he was lifting and pulling batted balls. The EVs are good. They're not great, right? Like he's not, and he's not a plus hitter. He's probably an above average hitter. But he definitely needs to get the ball in the air more. Like that's how he's going to allow his EVs to play, and his power to play. He's got good speed. He's got a decent approach. He doesn't strike out all that much. Probably be a good points league guy. But yeah, you just want to see more power and more oomph. And I know it's starting to heat up in I was about to say the Midwest League, but in the Midwest in general. So maybe there's something like that. But if you're going to be playing your home games in Detroit, you do need to handle the cold. And it was a point where him and McGonigal were much closer, and McGonigal is one of the better hitters in baseball right now. And Clark is sort of just not. I don't think he's regressed. I just think he's kind of stagnated at the level. Like we'll talk about at least one guy that I'm pretty sure is regressed, and for a certain reason. But it's just like I want to see more from him. I want to see him put the ball in the air more. And I honestly if he's not going to start doing that, then he's just going to sit in AAA for quite a while. And the Dodgers, the Tigers need some help. Like they're a team that's on this not doing well. And he's doesn't look like he's going to be one of their 9 best options. So there's no reason that he's in AAA.
Yeah, I mean, the data's pretty solid on him. I mean, he's running a 9th percentile exit velocity that's above MLB average. So that looks good. I mean, he's like 104.5. His max is fine. Average EV at 89.5 is fine. Making a ton of contact. So he's doing the things you want to see. There's also just the lack of like quality contacts. He's not creating any barrels at all, as you mentioned. So he's got to swing more in the zone. The zone swing rate is absurdly low. I'm not really sure what the reason for that is, but he's just not swinging at pitches in the zone. I've got a 60% zone swing percentage on him, which is not great. Swing the bat a little more. It'll be all right. The contact still looks good, but the angles, as you mentioned, is creating some more barrels for Max Clark. But the next guy, I'm a little more, and I'll preface by saying, like, there's been times where when the buzz was absurd, that was like, I think this guy's a reliever. And then there was times when I came back to it, like last year, I was like, okay, like it's just hard to argue with what Jonah Tong did last year. I mean, in the minors, he threw 113.2 innings with a 1.43 ERA. He struck out 40.5% of batters, like between double and AAA. And it was just one of those things where it's like, okay, like I don't like the mechanics. I worry that it might not work. And then we saw him make his major league debut, and he was bad. He's just been bad at AAA again this year, and I'm worried this reliever-ish. He might find himself there. They're not going to pull the plug yet. I mean, Jonah Tong's 22. He'll turn 23 in a month, so it's not like a case where they're like just going to pull the plug out on him as a starter. But it wouldn't shock me if he ends up there. But I'm curious to your thoughts on Tong, and what do you do with him if you roster him in fantasy?
I would kind of try and get out at this point. Yeah. I just don't know what the upside is. because we've seen enough Jonah Tong and we've seen enough data and AAA time and Major League time. There's just not a third pitch there. Like it's he hasn't been able to develop it. The fastball's good. The fastball's really good. Because it's all it's a unique arm slot, like arm angle, whatever, right? And the changeup's good, but like you can't just live off that as a starter, especially as a right-handed starter. As a lefty, you can kind of get away with it, and the command is like it can go up and down, like it's very like start to start, so he's not very consistent. He gets swings and misses because the fastball and changeup are just going to get swings and misses. Right. AAA hitters are not in the major leagues for a reason, right? For the most part, there's very there's some prospects that are waiting for their call, but a lot of the times it's your who was it last year? Yan Gomes played in AAA last year, which I don't think a lot of people knew. So it's your guys who've been around for a while. And Tong can get those guys out, but it doesn't seem like he can get major league batters out. And there needs to be that third pitch. And I don't know if it's like a grip thing or it's that arm slot. I just don't know what plays because he keeps trying this cutter, which is not great. And then he tries around with a slider and a curveball. Nothing's working. He only has the fastball and the fastball and the changeup, and it might just be a reliever. And I don't think it's a very fantasy viable one. Like, how many right-handed relievers are fastball changeup that are like in high leverage situations? There's very few of them, and because I don't think he has the fastball quality and the fastball strength, and plus the changeup to be like a closer for the Mets. And do you want to be a closer for a team that's maybe going through a little bit of a transition and a reap and a little bit of a teardown?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not really sure where I want to rank him. It's a tough spot to rank. Yeah, get him off the list, like, please. Like, he's one of those guys I just want off the list so quick. But yeah, I mean, it's predominantly fastball change. Like, he's mixed a little cutter in there, but I don't know. It's just the usage. I don't know. I'm just not like overly interested as I was. Like, the numbers looked so good last year. It's hard to argue that, but man, the results are tough against major league pitching, and they're tough this year in AAA. So I'm selling Jonah Tong. If you got a top 50 prospect, I'd be thrilled. I'd probably take a top 75 prospect. And if you get an MLB piece, I think it's a major, major win. The final guy to talk about, man, the swing's so hard to watch right now. And that's Bryce Rainer of the Detroit Tigers, who they promoted to high A. And he's been better at high A. So we gotta give him at least a little credit. But the better result at high A with a 751 OPS has also come with a 67% ground ball rate and a 45% strikeout rate. So it's not a lot to write home about for Bryce Rainer, but golly, that swing is brutal, man. And that's not the case because I've seen him a couple of times. I saw him in the spring last year down in Florida, and then to see what he's doing this year, it's tough to watch. But I'm very concerned about Bryce Rainer unless he fixes the swing again. But what are you doing with Rainer if you have him, or where are you ranking him?
I don't even know. Like, if there's not any sort of signs of life with the swing, do you just move on? Like, it's. And I mean, I don't blame him for not swinging. He's swinging 36% of the time on the season. Like, there's all these factors, and it's just all red flags. I know that he had the injury with the shoulder, and I read somewhere, it could have been the Discord, could have been Jeff, who knows everything. Shout out to him, I guess, reluctantly. But no, I saw someone really smart mention that like somebody messed up his swing this offseason. Like, and you can just see it in the visuals. It looks like the clunkiest swing you've ever seen. Like, his swing wasn't exactly the most orthodox and beautiful, right? Like, you weren't writing home about Bryce Rainer's swing, but at one point we were having the conversation, Bryce Rainer and Connor Griffin, right? Yeah. So maybe you hold out for the upside. But it's alarming. And yeah, I mean, the powers, I don't know what the EVs have looked like. I haven't asked around. But it's kind of tough to see. And if you've drafted him, you kind of have to hold on to him, I guess, in your deeper leagues, because what are you going to get for him? Like, are you even going to get like a major league reliever? Like, a guy who can get you some holds in a safe holds league? Like, I don't know if anybody really wants that. and you're basically only selling him to a rebuilder at that point. So what is the rebuilder, But it is what it is. It sucks. It really does. I'm really hoping that maybe we see some, he can be someone who, remember, was it 2 years ago that Colson Montgomery went down to the complex and spent 3 weeks there and worked on his swing, and now he's awesome. Maybe that's what he needs. He just needs some time away and just focus on, the swing, but let the Tigers rebuild the swing, because his 2025 season was fantastic, right? 5 home runs, 9 stolen bases, walking at a decent clip, striking out at a okay clip. There's always been hit tool concerns. So yeah, Rainer's someone he's probably one of the hardest prospects to handle and deal with. But I think at a certain point, in your deeper leagues, you just got to hold and just hope that maybe something happens. Like I said, he's probably a guy who probably just needs to be, demoted down to the complex, just work on some things. I don't think there's any shame in it. He's still super young. There's still plenty of upside. But yeah, the swing just needs a total rework.
Yes. That is for sure. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap up the show. It's been another good episode. It's one of my favorite episodes we've done so far this year. A lot of good talk. So hopefully everybody finds it helpful. A lot of good player discussion here. But we'll get out of here. We will do it next week. Thanks again for tuning in. And thank you for supporting the Dynasty Dugout. Go be sure to check out the site. We got a ton of good stuff coming up and more content than ever. So I'm thankful for that. And again, we put a emphasis on the quality that we put out. We're writing, me and Rhys are writing 4,000 word reports every day just to make sure we cover everything that needs to be covered on the prospects you need to know, and then all the other stuff as well that's coming out. So a lot of good stuff, but thanks for tuning in, and we hope you all have a great day.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.